Thanks for taking some time to take a look at this Cryptex overview. My goal is really simple. I want to make sure that you get all the information you need to make an intelligent decision as to whether or not this makes sense for you and for your family. I believe this is one of the best wealth creation vehicles that I've ever seen, but I'm simply going to give you the facts as they were shared with me, and then you can make that determination. Now, before we get started, I think I just want to get the housekeeping out of the way. You can freeze this as you're watching this video if you want to read it, but listen, guys, I'm not the owner of this company. I'm not a financial advisor. Only thing I'm going to do with you is share with you some information that I received and I decided to engage with. Please understand that any type of thing that you do that's in business, it has some sort of inherent risk. Just decide if the risk versus the reward makes sense for you and for your family, and then please move forward from there. Now, just imagine if you were driving down the street in your city, your town, and you saw this billboard. ABC Bank, you can insert whatever bank that is for you in your town, whether it's Wells Fargo, Bank of America, TD Bank, whatever. We're offering $30,000 to $40,000 loans, guaranteed approval. We're not going to check your credit. We're not going to see if you have a job. We don't even care what your name is. No ID required. Just a $100 processing fee gets you guaranteed approval. Guys, if you saw that in your town, two things are very probable. Number one, if you drove down to the bank, you would see that there was a line that stretched over the horizon of people just standing there waving their $100 bill. And number two, a couple years later, that bank would probably be out of business simply because it's just too risky, right? They walk in with $100, they walk out with 30 to 40 grand. The bank doesn't even know who they are. Most people aren't going to come back. They're going to go out and they're simply going to waste that money. But what if it was possible? What if banks could really do that? They could really provide capital to people so that they could go out and engage in markets with that capital. They could do it without even being concerned about who the people were, because the bank was 100% guaranteed that not one single person would default. What would something like that look like? Guys, let's talk to you for a second about Cryptex.to and how all of this actually comes together. Cryptex is a community-based project utilizing a blockchain-based DeFi staking protocol as its point for earning, guys. Cryptex maintains partnerships with banks, insurance companies, and individual account holders. That's people like you and I working uniformly to generate profit for all parties involved. They offer this unique DeFi hybrid contract consisting of two parts: a smart contract, I'm going to explain that, and a decentralized Oracle network of secure off-chain services that support the smart contract. Now, Cryptex provides anonymity for all parties. I'm going to show you why that's important here later. And they've been in operation since 2016. So this is not new. We're actually entering into our 9th year, and they are currently over 800,000 account holders worldwide. So a lot of people have already taken advantage of this wealth creation vehicle and literally changed their lives forever. Now, first, let's start with some of the basics. What is staking? Staking is a process of keeping your crypto assets locked for a contractual period of time in order to generate passive income. Locked assets protect the network's ability to generate crypto profits, and as a reward, the staker/participant receives returns. This is very similar to getting a CD or certificate of deposit from your bank. The longer you let them hold your money, the better the interest. If you let them hold your money for 6 months, you get one interest rate. If you tell them they can hold it for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, you get a much higher interest rate. It's the same exact thing, except with Cryptex, they're doing it with Bitcoin, and in your bank, they're doing it with your dollars. Now, they've put together this 4-part profit partnership. Let's talk about the parts of the profit partnership. Number one, we've got the bank. We know what banks do. They loan money and they earn interest. We've got the insurance company, which is going to insure the capital that's coming from the bank. We've got you, right? And you know who you are, right? You're the person, if you're like most of us, you're constantly worried about the future. What can I do better? What can I do differently to make sure that myself and the people that I care about are protected? And then we've got the smart contract. Now, if you're not from this crypto space, you may not be familiar with that term, but a smart contract, I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. It is simply executed code that is on a blockchain. I'll show you that in a second. And all it says is, hey, whenever this particular set of circumstances exist, we do this. There's no human interaction. There's no people hesitating, changing their mind, getting finicky, forgetting to take care of business. The smart contract executes perfectly every single time. Now, in this profit partnership, everyone has their part. You're going to go out and create a free account with Cryptex using only an email and a password. That's it. They don't need any other information about you. You're going to pay a $100 processing fee for each DeFi staking contract that you want. You decide if you want your contract's term to be 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. I'll show you the difference here in a moment. And then you can have a maximum of 80 contracts, no exception. It used to be 20 when the company first started. A few years back, it became 55, and now it's 80. 80 is the maximum that you can have. So that's your part. Very simple. Now, the bank. The bank makes a loan or loans, if you get multiple contracts, directly to the staking contract on your behalf. That's important. It means you don't get to touch the money. That guarantees the bank that you're not going to simply take it and run to the casinos or do something else with it, okay? The loans are either $30,240 for the 3-year terms or $43,200 for the 5 and 7 year term contracts. Now, for the bank's part, they get back 6.75% interest every single year on every single loan, which is incredible returns for them. And the bank receives the initial loan amount back at the end of each contract's term. So 3 years, 5 years, from 7 years, they get all their money back, plus they've earned 6.75% per year through the entire period. Now, the insurance company, they insure the staking wallet for loss or default. This is the double guarantee for the bank. Number one, you can't touch the money, so you can't do anything crazy with it. And number two, even if something happens to Cryptex, even if something happens to the staking wallet, their money is insured, so they still get back all their money. So now the bank has no risk of loss. Period. End of story. This removes all risk from the bank. For their part, the insurance company will receive monthly premiums of either $210 for the 3-year loans or $300 for the 5 and 7 year loans. And then finally, the staking contract, they do all the heavy lifting. Number one, they calculate your daily profits on those loans, 0.1 to 0.3% micro compounded, so they get big over time. They pay the bank all of the annual interest, as well as they guarantee that the bank, the day that the loans terminate, the bank gets back their money before anybody else gets anything. They pay the insurance company their monthly premiums every single time, every single month, on time, every time. $210 or $300 going out there, and they assign the remaining profits to you. That's why you do this. That's where all the big win comes in, guys. You see, what's going to happen is once you get your free account with Cryptex and you log into your back office, you're going to be given the option to go out and get these staking contracts, anywhere from one of them up to 80 of them. Now, you'll notice they've got a few different options here. They've got the 36 months, so that's the 3 years. It's $100 processing fee. They've got, I'm going to skip this one for a second. They've got the 5-year one. It's $100 processing fee. And they've got the 7-year one. It's a $100 processing fee. It doesn't matter. The only thing you're going to determine is whether you want to let them hold that loan for 3, 5, or 7 years. And I'll show you what your returns are here in a second. But they also have a bonus special that's going on right now. They haven't told us how long it's going to last, but it will not last forever, where if you have $1,000, you can get 15 contracts. Normally that would only get you 10, but if you're willing to buy them all at once and buy this pack, you get 5 additional contracts for free. Now, there's a limit of only 3 of these hybrid packs, so keep that in mind when you're buying. You can only buy a maximum of 3 of those and get 45 contracts in essence for $3,000. Now, with that said, here's the big $100 decision. Do you want to get a 3-year term where they're going to give you $30,240 to start with, a 5-year or a 7-year term where you're getting $43,200? Let's talk about what you get on the other end. Keep in mind that the numbers I'm about to show you, these numbers are what is left over after the bank has been paid back all their money plus their interest, after the insurance companies have been paid, after the staking platform has been paid all of their fees. This is what is left over for you. At the end of 3 years, after everyone else gets paid, you actually will have left over $35,000 and change. That is what you get, okay? This is after everybody else has gotten their payouts. At the end of 5 years, remember, the loan amount starts off larger, therefore it's going to compound faster and it's going to compound longer. Over 471,000 is left over for you, and at the end of 7 years, with more compounding and more and it's more explosive, you get $1.5 million for the same $100 processing fee. The only thing that changes is the loans that are initiated at the beginning and the length of time that the staking contract has to hold on to those crypto assets so they can continue to earn more money in the market with it. This is what they're paying you back at the end of this 3, 5, or 7 years. 35 and change, 471,000 and change, or 1.5 million and a little bit of change. And remember, you can get a maximum of 80 of these contracts per person. This is why people are changing their lives. Now, guys, once a contract is selected, we used an example. I copied this out of the back office of someone who got 1 3-year contract just so you see what it looked like. They paid a $100 processing fee, and the appropriate loan amount was instantly paid to the staking contract on their behalf. So in your account, you instantly see loan in staking pool, in this case just for one contract, $30,240. If they had gotten the 5 or the 7 year, this would be the $40,000 plus loan. And if they had gotten multiple contracts, this number would get bigger. In fact, if they got 80 contracts, this would be a few $1 million of loans that were placed in here on their behalf. Now, within 24 to 48 hours, you start earning daily staking rewards, and these rewards are compounded daily, 365 days per year. It's the magic of the compounding. Doesn't really matter the size of the daily compounding, but the magic of the compounding over and over and over again over 3, 5, or 7 years that creates these huge balances on the other end. Let's address the elephant in the room. Honestly, is this real? Because let's face it, if I told you, hand me $100, I'll hand you back 35,003, 471,005, or 1.5 million in 7 years, of course you'd do it. Everyone would do it. There's not a person on the planet who wouldn't do it if it was real. And that's where I got to when I first saw this. I said, listen, this is real. I'm not just going to invest hundreds. I'll put up thousands of dollars to get these to protect me and my family and to secure our future. But is this real? So let's talk about some of the proof that was provided. First of all, this was a copy of someone's actual back office. You'll see this exact same page in your back office when you actually sign up for the free account. It's called an overview of withdrawal funds. This is where all the withdrawals are coming out of your account, and you can see each and every withdrawal, the date, the amount, and the wallet that it went to. Now, clearly, again, for anonymity purposes, people have kind of blocked out their wallets and their contract numbers, but you can still see the dates and you can see the amount. So we'll come down here to the bottom. On January 10th, 2023, they took out $98,000. January 11th, 2023, $89,487. On March 15th, 100,000. March 18th, 100,000. March 20th, 112,000. March 21st, 2023, 100,000. Guys, what I look at this as, a person who got started, got a couple of contracts, very quickly saw their profits adding up, said this is real, went and got some more contracts, right? And now these contracts are executing for them, and they're actually just pulling out of their profits off of the platform. These profits are paid out to them in Bitcoin. This is the USD value of that Bitcoin at that particular time. So that is simply amazing. Now, what we also saw was exactly what this process looks like. There was a person who was willing to actually film the entire process, which was pretty cool, where they showed their back office, and then they showed the exact email that they got when their contract terminated and what it actually looks like, what they actually do. So for a couple things I want to point out to you here, you can see, and you'll see this for every contract that you get, you'll see the start date, which in this case was 11/20/2020. You'll see the end date, which in this case is 11/21/2023. So an exact 3-year contract. You could see that the amount was $43,200 for the loan, and I'll talk to that in a second. You could see the $300 that was being paid for it per month to the insurance company, the amount of interest paid out every year to the bank, as well as the monthly handling fee of $30 per month on the platform. Now remember, I've already told you that for the 3-year loans that we have available to us right now, it's $30,240. But a few years ago, they were offering a different 3-year package that they were offering $43,200, much more explosive because of the higher loan amount. But those are sold out. Even if you go to the website, it'll say 36 months are sold out. But when you log into your back office, you'll see the new 36-month one for the $30,240 that they're currently offering. Now, on exactly November 21st, 2023, this gentleman received an email basically saying, hey, regarding this loan, this particular loan, basically telling them it's terminated and giving them the breakdown. It said, listen, you've got $501,487.74 that started off as the wallet balance. We did some back-end adjustments for different fees and different back-end compensation. That lowered it to $485,145.68. We then did a loan reversal. So this was 2 contracts that they had, each one for $43,200, the loans. So that was $86,400. That goes back to the bank right away. Before you get to touch anything, they sent the bank back their $86,000. So the bank was very happy. And then what was left over was $398,745.68. Okay, $398,745.68, almost $400,000. You can see the deposit right here that was made into his back office for $398,745.68. It says total funds available $403,000, so he had another $5,000 or so in his back office already. He then withdrew that money, and you can see the Bitcoin now on his personal wallet. He's using a cell phone. You could have done this with a computer, but of 10.597 Bitcoin. Now this was back in 2023, so Bitcoin clearly was worth, I think, around that point somewhere close to $40,000, maybe about $37,000 or $38,000 Bitcoin. If he kept this Bitcoin until today, I don't know if he did or not, but if he kept it till today, when Bitcoin is worth over 100,000, 10.597 would be over $1 million worth of Bitcoin. But you can see he got his 10.597. It's about $39,000 of Bitcoin that he ended up with in his wallet after all transfer fees, etc. Guys, that is incredible. 390,000, I should say, almost, of Bitcoin. Now, for a lot of people, that was enough proof. For me, I was like, show me the blockchain. What does the blockchain say? Because the blockchain can't be fake. Now, if you're from this space, you know what the blockchain is. If you don't, blockchain is simply a database of transactions, often called a distributed ledger, that has been duplicated and broadcasted to a network of users who can all verify and agree on the database. All cryptocurrencies run on a blockchain. Now, if that's too complicated, just simply understand this. It is completely transparent. It is completely secure, so it can't be hacked and it can't be faked. And that was the important thing for me, and it's completely public. So once you have the address of a blockchain wallet, you can go look at it every single day and you can see what's happening. And all I wanted to know was if people are really being paid hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, show it to me on the blockchain. I don't need to see screenshots and hear testimonials. Just show it to me in a place where I know it can't be faked. So guys, I blew this up for you so you could actually copy down this address if you want to. You can freeze this screen right now on the video and you can copy this address. But listen, go to www.blockchain.com/explorer. You plug in this address and you hit submit, and you'll actually come to this Bitcoin wallet. Now, this is a clearinghouse wallet. It means they're sending in the money into this wallet so people can then go and withdraw it right away. So whenever you look at this, you're probably going to see a Bitcoin balance of 0 or maybe a few hundred to a few $1,000,000 because you happen to look at it right before somebody pulled off their profits. But this is the part you need to see on this wallet. This address has transacted 26,530 times on the Bitcoin blockchain. It has received a total of 504,022.69 blah, 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 blah Bitcoin. That is equivalent to $52,682,588,662. $52 billion and change, almost $53 billion. That is just one wallet, guys, just one wallet that Cryptex is paying out through. So I also went down, now I showed you this, and you can copy that if you want to and go look at it, but then here's what it looks like. I took a snapshot here recently. Looks like this was May 13th. So guys, look at what's going out of this wallet, okay? $6.95 million being paid out to someone. These are the deposits that they sent in, so this person could then take out their $6.95 million. 451,000 going out to someone else. This red means going out. $4.99 million going out to someone, and another one here, $5 million. And this just goes on for page after page after page after page after page through this wallet. Again, you can see it's the same wallet as I showed you on the previous screen. Now, here's another wallet, okay? If that's not enough for you, again, you can freeze this screen. You can get this address. You can go plug it in. Look at this one. $516,241,580,691. So you look at, that's what's come in, that's what they've paid out. So over $1 trillion, it says in volume, but it's because they're including both in, received, and sent. It's $516 billion has actually flowed into this wallet, and then people obviously withdrew it. So this wallet has been going on for a while now, but again, another Cryptex wallet. Guys, let's address the other elephant in the room, though, because once I saw the blockchain, I said, okay, there's no question about it. That's all the proof I needed to see. Yes, there's a ton of money coming in, and they're paying out a ton of money to their 800,000 plus users. That got me excited, but the question did come up. The other elephant in the room, how do I know this isn't a Ponzi scheme based solely on the $100 processing fees? Like, prove to me that banks are really sending money. What if it's just a bunch of people around the world who are being fooled? They're sending in this $100, they're using the $100 to pay out the other people. Let's do some quick math, guys, and I think we can get rid of this. First of all, $100. That's what we're talking about, right? Cryptex has a little over 800,000 users. Let's round that number all the way up to 900,000. Let's just make it a bigger number. 900,000 times $100 would be $90 million. That's a lot of money. Clearly enough money to run a Ponzi if you wanted to. 90 million. Let's make it even bigger. Let's say that every one of these people, they got the full 80 contracts. We know that's not possible because 80 contracts didn't even used to be available, but let's say they did. Every one of these 900,000 people got 80 contracts each. That would mean 90 million times 80, $7.2 billion. That is an insane amount of money. You could run an incredible Ponzi scheme with $7.2 billion. There's just one problem. I just showed you two wallets, and the smaller wallet had $52 billion go through it. If in all of the history of Cryptex, they bought in $7.2 billion in $100 payments, where the other $45+ billion come from? The only excuse, the only way that this is possible is if they're doing exactly what they said they're doing. Every single $100 processing fee is being backed now by loans from banks, and that capital is being used by Cryptex to earn money and through a staking process, and those profits are being shared with you. The banks are being paid, the insurance companies are being paid, and people's lives are being changed every single day.